Apology accepted, sweetheart. Apology accepted. Number one, you being conscious that despite not just apologizing, but being aware and validating how I might have felt the way that I did.
I've really been thinking a lot about what we preach about contraception. From this point of view, I've found that I have, especially in my 30s, the more the people around me are married and trying to have children or are having children, the more I have seen the impact of contraception. Hi guys, Murugi Munyi here.
It's Lydia KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy In Between. It's definitely TMI. Hi, beautiful.
How are you?
Looking like a 10.
Looking like a fucking 25.
For those who can't see us, we are looking. You have to just take our word for it.
Yeah, we are gorgeous right now, actually. Yeah.
And we're feeling really excited. Number one, because as always, it's a new episode. And as long as it's a new episode for TMI, we just feel like, you know what? Let's give them 150%. And let me tell you something that I think I've learned about me and Joe is like, in spite of all fires.
In spite
of all fires, we will prevail and we will be here giving you another episode every single week.
Honestly, if you guys know how much we lay down, we could lay down our lives to make sure there's an episode out. There are times when we have literally gone above and beyond. Yani, we're just like, no, we must have an episode.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I see all the comments about like, I wish you could have 2 or 3, I'm like, see, we'll die.
We are on the edge. We are on the edge.
Exactly. But
really
we do our best to be able to give our best on here, honestly.
Yeah. When we first signed one, people were just like, congrats on your first year. Like, our first year was like, I guess, a fluke. Like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Still seeing.
Us 10 years later. Let's see.
Still here. And the reason why we're so motivated to do this is because of the level of support that you guys show us and connecting with our content, whether if it's on YouTube, on Instagram, just basically showing us that you are there and you are part of this journey that really validates us. So, before we even move on, you being part of this journey, you cannot be out there in those streets saying that you're in betweener. And yet on YouTube, we have not seen your subscription. On our podcast platform, we have not seen you click that plus button. Don't be saying that.
Exactly.
So right now, pause and see and make sure, because sometimes we just don't know. Subscribe or follow us on our podcast platforms and also on our social media, TMI Podcast KE, Lydia KM, and Murugi Munyi. We have plenty of content 24/7.
Most times, let's not say 24/7.
When do we not?
24/7.
You take one Sunday off every so often.
It's true. Okay, fine. But we are literally always there, guys. Me, I wake up having dreams about, like, sometimes I'll wake up and think of like a thread that I want to do on stories, and I'm like, I have to write it down before I forget. Yeah.
Breakfast, like I'll know, like, okay, I do this and I do this and do this.
Exactly.
Constantly trying to educate and entertain, have fun with you guys, and share our personal lives as well.
Absolutely.
So today we wanted to have a bit of a different kind of episode, and I think maybe we should call it an in-betweener once said.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
An in-betweener once said.
Me, I was like, what is that they do about tweets? Reacting to mean tweets. Anyway, that one sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And In-Betweener Once Said is the name of this episode. So we're just going through some of the YouTube comments and just sharing some, because sometimes we're not always able to react, obviously, to that comment. Yeah. And we used to go through YouTube comments,
all the time,
but because we started shooting a lot more in advance to make sure that we're being consistent, now we can't be reading the comments of five episodes ago.
And then also, I feel like now our episodes are way longer. Yeah. Like before, it used to be initially where we were shooting before. I feel like we used to do like 30 to 40 minutes so that the other 20 minutes we could have in betweeners, TMI talk and whatnot. But now we really prioritize talking for a lot. And you guys still say it's not enough. How much talking can we do? But so because we do that, we don't always have the time to respond. So we wanted to react actually and respond to some of the things you guys have said. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative, some of them are somewhere in between and thought-provoking. But valid. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We'll be telling you which episode we are referring to, and then we'll respond. And also, guys, we always do encourage, the same way I know sometimes we're being humorous, we do say some things that can cut, but truthfully we always want to lead with being kind, being respectful and things like that to everyone. So even when you're responding, always make sure that that's what you're leading with, like, do I have to say this in this way, because you don't even know who is going to affect not only just me and Joe or somebody else who's actually reading that. So that's what we try our very best to do. So anyway, You want to start?
Okay, I can start. So this comment is on our episode of, I think she's a 10, but
We did
TMI
say
live
we should call
experience.
it.
Yes. Okay, so TMI live experience. Although you only need to say it if it's relevant to what was said in that episode. Otherwise, you can just explain what we were talking about, because we know what we're talking about. So in this particular episode, it was in the TMI live experience, I believe, and Lydia was sharing about how there was someone who had tweeted about how they love your content, but they can't get past her accent.
Or after you get past the JKM's
Miriam's
accent, she's actually very intelligent.
Exactly. And she was saying how, it's like a compliment, but is it a compliment?
It's like,
it's like, yeah.
I could have just been intelligent.
Exactly.
But if you get past
if you get past her fat ass, she's actually quite shapely. It's like,
cute.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
So we had the babe, we saw a comment from the babe who actually had written that tweet. And so I'm going to read it and see what it says. I think it's okay for us to say her name because it's public on here. Anyway, her first name is Sylvia. Let me just say that her first name is Sylvia. And she says, I wish this comment section had a voice note option so that I could explain myself properly on the tweet I made and apologize for making Lydia feel like this. First of all, we love that you came and commented.
We love it.
Exactly. Then she said, considering I've always been a fan of y'all's content, it's heartbreaking to think I came across as a hater or a downright horrible person for posting that seemingly harmless tweet. Seemingly harmless. I'm really not. I didn't realize there was anything negative about my comment until I watched the episode on turn-offs and I completely understood where you are coming from, Lydia. I said on the post, and I'll say it again, that I really love your accent. I always have, and reason I mentioned once you get past was because several times I'd recommended TMI to different people. I'd get back the accent comment or at y'all allowed as a reason. Y'all are allowed as a reason why they don't watch the content, and I'd be like, Aki, please ignore those things and just focus on the content. Also, she's saying from the point of view, if the accent bothers you, get past it because she's actually intelligent. Got it? Then she says, when I was tweeting that, I was talking about those people, not myself. I, however, see how that would come off as a backhanded compliment. Hence, I sincerely apologize for it. And I hope you can see me in a different light one day because I really am a woman's woman. And I love you all. Apologizing publicly because the tweet and the episodes were also public.
Apology accepted, sweetheart.
Def.
Apology accepted.
Yeah.
Number one, you being conscious that despite not just apologizing, but being aware and validating how I might have felt the way that I did based on the way the tweet was phrased. I definitely understand, and thank you so much for apologizing. To be honest, I honestly can't even start thinking about being self-conscious about my accent, that when people listen to TMI, the first thing they're like is like, I would, but the way she talks, that's just so interesting to me. Anyway,
but it's because you're you. Because I remember even when we started hosting TV, I used to struggle with your accent, but not struggle from the point of view of is it fake or anything. It's just like your pronunciations of certain words are just different. Like how instead of you say the.
But the is Kikuyu.
Yeah, okay, fine. So even that one, so exactly. So it was more things like that, and like now the Britishness, but like your Britishness is not like so British, it's like British Kenyan. So even me, I would struggle with that. But then all three of you guys had accents. So I felt like the odd one out, like you raise your accent, kind of thing. So I get it.
But anyway, so thank you so much for apologizing. I completely accept your apology. I think that was a wonderful way to apologize, accepting how maybe that may have come off that way, how it affected me, and also being clear about what exactly you meant. So 100% apology accepted fully.
Yeah, exactly. And I get when someone else, when I recommend content to someone and they're like, oh, this is not my thing, I don't try to convince them to watch it, by the way. It's like either it's for you or it's not for you. And I always feel like me, when I go to someone's page, there's a vibe I get, which maybe I just don't like the way maybe I just don't like your hair.
You don't even get it.
Exactly. You just don't get it. And I don't think that makes that person a hater. It's just like there's content for some people and there's content which is not for other people. It's just like you get past it.
Is there a screenshot?
Yeah, this is a screenshot.
Oh, okay. Because underneath that comment,
there were other...
No.
Oh,
there were other people. I think someone said like, oh yeah, me too. I used to think they were so loud.
Which is true, we are. And you see, loud people are for some people. Then there are others who it's just like, it's just not. Exactly. It's the same way some of our episodes, people will watch them like this, he's a 10, she's a 5, but whatever. And they'll like be like, so funny. Then there's others who will take such offense. And we are like, okay, maybe the content is not for you if you can't find joke and make light of such things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, we get called out on that a lot.
Yes.
All right, so this is another one. This is from the episode, Did I not say that I will? She's a 10 baht, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a 10 baht. This is Imungu Calevera, you're saying, given how contraceptives affect and even destroy women's body, I really understand why someone would prefer to pull and pray. We know that these contraceptive methods can send your hormones into whack. Let's be honest. It can be a huge price to pay if you get pregnant, and a huge price to pay if you go into depression because of off-balance hormones. So I validate the fact that, there's actually women who they have tried pretty much every single contraceptive, but for whatever reason, there's some kind of reaction to it. However, that number is extremely small. It's a very, very small number as far as one person not being able to be at all in touch with any contraceptives. The reason why we preach about contraceptives is not because that we don't understand some of the things they can do to your body, etc., etc. We preach it because it's an empowering choice for women to make, because every 2 days there's I got pregnant, there's this guy, I'm not sure of him, what should I do? There's my baby daddy didn't want this baby, and now we have there's too many of that. And I feel like it's a far more empowering place to, at the very least, see what contraceptives work for you. Because we always say it's not that every contraceptive is going to work for you. Me and Joe have the non-hormonal IUD, which there's no hormones to go out of whack or anything like that. But it too has like cramping and some of these other heavy periods that we accept. So our viewpoint is not that we don't understand what it can do to women. It's just that despite that, I feel like there are ways you can try to see what's best for your body and be in a position of empowering yourself to, as Joe would say, be in control of your destiny.
So last week I had an IG live on my page about contraception. And since then, I've really been thinking a lot about what we preach about contraception. From this point of view, I've found that I have, especially in my 30s, the more the people around me are married and trying to have children or are having children, the more I have seen the impact of contraception or just other things that we put in our body or things that we experience impact your ability to have children and how easy that is for you. And it's put me in this position where I've been thinking, yes, I believe contraception is great if you're sure you don't want to have kids right now. But if you think about the consequences of getting pregnant when you are not ready for it versus you're ready to have a baby but you can't get pregnant because of the decisions you made when you didn't want to get pregnant, which one is worse?
And what has maybe give us a bit of a bit more context as far as maybe what you've seen as far as people struggling to have kids, what has happened to them, what kind of contraceptives they've been on to lead to this.
So these ones are primarily people who are on hormonal contraception because they tend to have the biggest impact on your body. I mean, all of them have, but they tend to have the biggest impact on your body. So a lot of contraceptions, they'll tell you that once you remove your contraception, you could take anywhere between 3 months to even 2 years for you to conceive. For many women, like for me, it's pretty easy for me to conceive when I remove it. For others, I've seen them take 2 to 3 years. And I've seen how damaging that can be to families, to a woman's self-esteem, to her confidence, which in itself is a horrible thing. Now, I don't know if that is so horrible in comparison to you got pregnant and a child that you weren't prepared for, and now you're living with that for the rest of your life.
Or you go through multiple abortions.
Exactly.
And that prevents
or
your
miscarriages or things like that. Because hormones, I mean, anything that you put in your body which was not ever in your body, exactly, is going to do something with it. But of course, now, you could say we'll just use condoms, but we all know how when the alcohol is here and you're in the bed, and you're in upon the dick, by the time you're now saying about condoms and whatnot, it's just like, but the reality is that many women, I feel like more women are scared about the impact that the contraception has on their body. And I think by us, we are constantly preaching about how much you need contraception, but maybe what we need to also be talking about is that contraception does affect your body.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a fair balance. That's definitely a fair balance. And I don't know if we've ever said that they don't, but maybe because we are more predominant, and also because we are in non-hormonal ones.
And we are also, both of us are at a stage right now where we don't want to be pregnant right now. So maybe if we were on that side of like, oh my God, I was on contraception for 10 years, but I'm desperate for a child right now. I've been trying for 2 years. Maybe our message would be different. And the more I thought about that, the more I was like, okay, now, because before I used to be like, on contraception, are you stupid? You're just stupid because why would you not be and you don't want to have a baby? But I get it.
Okay, so the pull and pray, this is the thing, So it's either we are saying that it's just a better situation to have an unwanted pregnancy, either become a mother in circumstances that you don't want, or go through abortions, or just pull and pray and hope that when you do want kids, you have them then.
But you see, but the thing is that even if you don't use contraception, it's not like it's a guarantee that
you're
now
going
you're
to
going to have
have, that you're
exactly,
going to have.
or that if you do use contraception,
Yeah.
that when you want a child, you're not going to be able to, you
Yeah.
know. And the thing is that because our bodies are so unique and so different, you
Yeah.
really can't tell which side you're going to fall.
Yeah.
But I feel like now, and I don't know why it was like a light bulb moment. Maybe it's because I had an interaction with a friend of mine who has been trying for 3 years, and she's just like, she was literally saying she was on the hormonal IUD, and she was just saying, she said she can't directly tie it to that, but she just feels like if she hadn't been on it, she would have conceived by now. And seeing the pain in her eyes and how the stress it has put on their marriage and how difficult it has been for them, like
I could die
you
right
know,
now.
I know.
I could die.
It's
okay,
so
so do you know
painful.
what? I
Yeah.
feel like there's a healthy balance. As we've said, the reason why we talk about contraceptives is because we feel like it, especially in the dynamics between the sexes, being the motherhood is usually the predominant responsibility when there's a child. It's up to us to be the ones who decide when to have it, right? I still fall definitely on, if you don't want to have a child,
Do something
right now, do something about it.
Yeah.
But now, if we do know more about hormones and things like that, maybe you can make a choice around that too, right? You can make a choice around the balance of, I don't want hormones affecting my body all that much, but I definitely don't want to have children right now. Or if you're so disciplined and you really want to have kids and you don't want to mess up, you can also just wear condoms and be disciplined about that.
and count your days.
And count your days, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that too. You can decide to do that as well. But a lot contraceptives is usually used in an easier way because that's there. It's not reliant on your humanity on how it works.
Except if it's like taking pills every day and you forgot them at home and now you slept at your friend's place and your friend's place is in Gong and you live on Thika Road and now it's like,
That's
where am I
one
gonna
of the
get the
reasons I
pills?
stopped with the pill.
Oh yeah, I just mean no, definitely no.
It's just
But
too
the
much.
reality is that anything that we do to our bodies carries with it some element of risk.
Yeah.
Not using the contraception, there's an element of risk. Using the contraception, there's an element of risk, you know.
Yeah.
So I think as we get older, where you choose to place your risk like changes, you
It
know.
does. I
It's like
guess-
maybe now when you're in your 30s, you can be like, okay, you probably have you're less into casual sex and you probably have less just like random sex. So you're able to maybe say, let me get off the contraception and use a lighter or an easier method as opposed to when you're younger. I mean,
It's
there's so
true.
many things. So you just need to balance the risk.
Yeah.
in your
Also,
mind.
there's also risk of horrible diseases, which isn't really emphasized as much. We don't discuss that. A lot of pull and pray is that somebody isn't even using protection. So you do want to protect yourself from all the other effects that might come to your body because of hormones, but not HIV. You know, like there's other risks that really we kind of push away as far as what could happen when we are not being as responsible.
Because there are some things which you imagine just like,
just
it
pretend.
sucks when other people get an STD,
Yeah,
but you
but
don't
not
imagine
you. Not you.
It's not you, like, Lydia, you now have gonorrhea.
God.
Like, is that even, it's like, it's not in our sphere of existence.
No,
you know what I'm
let me
saying?
do this here. STIs, I told you, I've got so much education as STIs. If I
Yeah.
can take a pill for it, I don't feel destroyed.
Yeah.
But it's the one that you can't.
Herpes.
Herpes. HIV.
For life.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's you've got to think about other things as
So
well.
syphilis and gonorrhea, you can just take a pill for it.
I don't know if syphilis you can. I think syphilis you can.
Can you?
Because it sounds like it's a really old disease. They should have figured it out by
No,
now.
I know. It's giving penicillin.
Just give me a shot and let me go.
Give me a shot. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I think gonorrhea is curable as well.
Yeah, I think they
is,
are. Yeah, chlamydia,
is curable as well.
Yeah.
There's many things that are curable. And if you can take a pill for it, the world would end. But I feel like if you get an STI, it's like a signal that you really need to get shit together.
Honestly, you just...
because
I know.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I feel like, is it a women's thing? I guess it's everyone's thing, but whenever you're not in the sexual situation, you always feel like, I'm a reasonable person. Of course, I'm not going to put myself in a risky situation, but you've just met this guy in the club and you've talked for an hour and suddenly you feel like you can trust him. You've told him about your alcoholic dad. You've told him about, you know, how you were raped when you were 2 and what.
And
it's
the
like
thought
all these
of
things.
that D with a condom.
You're just like, because you feel like you can trust him.
close.
Oh, we are close.
We're
And
close.
tomorrow he's not called you. Good night.
He hasn't called you.
He's
So I
not.
guess the way we can move forward is we believe that if you don't want to have children and you're sexually active, you should find a contraceptive method that works for you. However, you should be conscious about what the effects of those contraceptives are. That's
exactly.
a good balance.
That's a good balance.
Okay.
Yes. And please go to my page, Murgimuni. You can see an IG live I did with Kasha. It was about the impact of contraception on your body. That was the first live ever that you didn't join, by the way.
I came back on it and I was like, it was done.
Yeah.
Was I dying?
I think you were dying.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You were probably on the edge of death. Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's go to another comment. So this was on the episode of, I think, he's a 5. No, I think it's still on the TMI live experience episode. And I think there's a question that someone had talked about boundaries with friendships, boundaries in friendships. And so her name is Mama Salm on YouTube. And she said, I learned about setting boundaries from you ladies. Recently, my friend wanted to borrow a dress I wore on my son's baptism and I wasn't comfortable lending it to her. So I said no. She asked, why though? Y'all, the audacity. I just sent a funny meme in response and it ended there. This is what I was telling you. Me, when I said boundaries, and then now if they push back on the boundary, that's the most uncomfortable thing for me. That's when I break.
Yeah, because boundaries need reinforcement and it's rough.
I can't do in the reinforcement because it's like if my why is what makes me feel, because for me, the practice of trying to set the boundary, it makes me feel selfish. It makes me feel like, why am I actually saying no to this person with something that they need, even if it's something that crosses my own boundary. But so now, as long as I don't have to explain to them, because the reality is that there's no reason, I just don't want to. I just don't want to give you the thing. It's just it. But I can't say that to somebody. I just don't want to.
Yeah. But I mean, I think, first of all, I feel like once you say no, it's like that person, it's their responsibility to respect that, right? But if they ask why, it's like, if whatever you say, really, they've already pushed back. Me, I would say no. I hate the feeling of my boundaries being crossed more than I hate anything else.
The more you hate the thought of hurting someone else.
100%, because it makes me feel voiceless. It makes me feel that I've betrayed myself. It makes me feel like no one is thinking about me.
Yeah.
And even I'm not thinking about me. And that makes me too sad. I can't go through that.
Me, I've not reached there yet. I feel like that makes me feel bad, but I'll sacrifice and I'll just be like, anyway, that one will cross that bridge when you get to it. But just let these people not think. It's the whole dynamic of like, I want people to know that I'm a good person and I don't want people to think I'm a bad person because I really am good, And it's like,
you really are, then you really are.
Yeah, but how do you show that you are good?
By being yourself. Yes. By being yourself, the good that you actually are.
The good that I actually am. But like the good, you see, the good
it's that your perception that's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really...
I tell you this now, I validate your feelings, Joe, I do, but it perplexes me that this lion body, some of the things that she says that she's unable to do, I'm just like, how?
I know. And I think maybe that's why in my 30s, I've found that my circle has gotten smaller and smaller.
So I have to say no to.
So I have to say no to fewer people. Or even if I say yes to people, it's not so many that I feel like I've really betrayed myself. It's just I've only betrayed myself with this small group of people.
Really?
But I'm really working on it.
Yeah.
Nelly can tell you because she's been there when I'm saying no to someone and shaking.
Really? But you're still doing it.
I'm trying.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And we transfer this stuff to our kids.
Yeah,
so those lack of boundaries, where did we learn them? We saw them somewhere.
Yeah.
We saw people not respecting their boundaries somewhere. And then we learned. We are 32 and 1. Still struggling.
Still.
Let's do it. Let's do better.
Joanne at 40, I really hope you've learned this skill and you've perfected it.
I hope to cry.
Joanne at 40, if you're watching this, please write here in the comments and let us know, please.
I think she did. I think she perfected it. I have faith. So this one is from She's a 10 but. How is she a 10 for accepting her hair that grows naturally out of her body? This was for you. But a 6 for bleaching. Do you all not see the problem with that line of thought? Even for joke, it says a lot. Someone responded, that's Amarni A who said that. Noella Liz responded, according to me, I would agree with them because for ladies, hair growth such grooming is a hygienic aspect. Bushy is yuck.
Whoa.
Amani responded to her and said, and what is bleaching your skin if not perpetuating self-hate and westernized body standard? I just think if you're going to rate hair... Oh, sorry, I didn't look through the whole one. But anyway, it was a bit of a back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this in the last episode about the bleaching and whatnot. And me, I maintain. So the body hair one was much lower.
Yeah, you said she's a 2 for body hair and a 6 for bleaching.
Yeah, but can I just say, let me re-emphasize, this is a personal standard in terms of what I remember at the beginning of that episode, Lydia said we are responding from a personal standpoint,
which
right?
is fair.
Yeah, not for society.
Exactly.
For me, I just find body hair unattractive. Why are you laughing at me? Shut the front door.
Okay, sweet.
I just personally find body hair unattractive on women. I find body hair very attractive in men. In fact, I find men without body hair a little strange.
Yeah.
Okay? I love body hair on men. I just find it unattractive on women. And it's not the everywhere part. Like for me, when I see like a woman with hair on her legs, it's like, it's neither here nor there. It's not like I'll think, oh my God, she's so hairy. But like hair in the armpits, hair down there. And you see, just like that, was it Liz, someone who said it's a hygiene thing? It really is a hygiene thing for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that women, and I'm not even saying that it has to be completely clean shaven, like there's absolutely nothing, but cut a little bit. I'm standing by that, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm standing by that. And for the bleaching, please watch our last episode because Lydia explained it very well. It's about race. It's a deeper issue than just like, oh, I just
Which
feel like
you
bleaching
disagreed with.
I did indeed disagree. But here in this episode, I would like to agree. This is a different episode, a different day.
I'm a new woman.
And I'm a new woman. And I would like to, I mean, by going by what you're saying, I'm like, for me personally, like, just like I said, no, and the reason I rated that person a 6 is that, okay, it sucks that you're not comfortable with your skin, but anyone should have the right to change anything about their body that they don't want.
Yeah.
So,
okay, there you have it.
and
people.
you give a response. Defend me, bitch.
Obviously. Oh, I should defend you.
Yeah.
You know I disagree with that. You know I disagree. I
The
said
body hair.
Oh no, the body hair, no.
Yeah,
oh,
that's the
sorry.
part. Forget
that
the
part.
bleaching.
Me, I already said that. I don't particularly find actually there's a lady who was saying that, you know, if all women, she had her arms up and she had like body hair, like armpit hair, and it was like pepper grain.
What's pepper green?
Pepper grain is like the little round.
And maybe for me, it's the fact that
It wasn't like, you know, like combed. You know, it was just like patchy like that. And I was just like, I have got to put a stop to this. I put a stop to this. And guess what? I don't think we all have to agree and move forward as women that body hair is okay. I think if you feel like your body hair is okay and you want to have your body hair, all power to you. By the way, every time I see someone doing something that I feel like beyond what I could do, I accept my limit and I admire them for their courage, right? But I accept this limit. And I will not move forward to now tell all of us that we should. Every time Joe puts up her hand and she hasn't gone waxing, I'm just like,
and
no.
literally there'll be like 3 little hairs, and she's like, Joe, what's wrong? Joe, what happened? And I'm like, whoa,
what's happening with your life?
I'm like, yeah, just
you haven't told me you're going through things.
Literally the tiniest part of body hair,
I
guys.
don't think we have to all agree that it's a thing we should do, and it's okay that we do have people who want to be against that.
Yeah,
me already said she's also a 2 and she's bleaching.
Exactly, yeah. And for me, it's like, maybe it's because of the connotations that they're just keeping a lot, like especially when it's like the bushy super, I am never ever shaving or never waxing. It's like, it's become a stance of like for feminism kind of thing. Like you wouldn't find somebody just having bushy armpits and they're just like this. They must always be like this. Why? Why must every Instagram post be like this? Why? It's like those pictures of women like who are trying to be like at stop period shaming, and they're wearing white pants which are red stained and what, and it's like, okay,
I get thought provoking.
Oh
to
God,
push
like
the
no,
conversation.
I get the whatever, but let's. I mean, Anyway, guys, just comment. Let me know. Defend me down below because you guys, I know you understand what I was saying, right? I know you understand. And if you have to keep your bushy hair, it's fine. Us, on the other hand, though,
I find it admirable. I do. But do I need to find it attractive? I don't think so.
You find it admirable that someone decides to keep their
because
hair.
Guess what? Especially with somebody who's like actually trying to push a conversation forward as far as, you know, this beauty standard.
Admirable,
I find that admirable.
Yeah.
So that's great for you, but that's it.
But not for us. Us. Me and Lydia and I don't know why it was directed at me.
Yeah.
All right. Now this one I think is a comment from he's a 5 but or he's a 10 but one of those ones. Anyway, it was about Solomon Butchi's comment. Remember Solomon Butchi's comment where he had said, "Oh, she's not the most beautiful woman in the world. She's not the most whatever." Yeah. And then we had obviously had like very strong views, and a lot of you guys had a lot of strong views. But this one person was somewhat defending him, and she was saying, "I'm an ardent follower of TMI, and they provide so much encouragement, but you have to be really insecure as a woman to see what Solomon wrote as embarrassing to his woman." So you're insecure.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, before that post, he has said before on many posts how beautiful, smart, and impressive his woman is. Perspective, guys.
Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like, and sometimes I don't know why there's need for us to talk about things that way, because that comment could have been, in my opinion, ...
Yeah, as opposed to
why you must be insecure to
woman.
think that why do I have to be insecure because my viewpoint is different from yours. I find that if you're formulating an opinion where you need to demean someone, automatically some of the points of what you're trying to say gets lost in the in the back and forth or in the really that was in poor taste to say that, because it's okay for me to say that what I want from my man is to feel like I am a glorious goddess, and that's my want, that's my desire, and it's just as valid as yours, who you want your man to tell you despite your edgeless head, I have still found you.
And I've
so
committed,
what?
And I've
You
committed
have
to
your tires around your stomach. Those tires are what keep me warm. Whatever. If that's what you want, I'm not going to tell you that you're insecure as a woman for wanting your man to talk to you that way. Why do I have to be insecure for wanting my man to over exaggerate his passions? We don't need that was an unnecessary comment if you ask me.
Thank you for calling us insecure.
Which is everyone else who decided. I feel like it's a preference, you know. If the people who like to be talked to like harshly, like down, that's great. You go get your edgeless head complimented, you know? Yeah. And your back teeth pointed out as he writes on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And then on to the point about the fact that he has said in the past that she's beautiful and intelligent. That exactly was Lydia's point in the episode, because I remember you saying there are certain men who it's like they want you to know you're phenomenal, but not too phenomenal.
It's like, it's like tune it down a bit
so that it's like, I compliment you, but just know that not too much. You're not too much above me kind of thing. And that's exactly what you're referencing here, is that he has said many times that she's beautiful and she's intelligent. Why did it have to now be a comparison between her and all other women? She's not the most beautiful woman in the world, not the most intelligent.
I can never see that to be a compliment. Also, I feel like men like that are usually those, like, you know, cutting straight honest men, as people as he would be called, are the men to say something like, wow, you look so beautiful, I love your hips, I love the way that plays, and I'm right there. You know, because since we're being honest, if
just
honesty is the top of the list of stuff, then you end up running into things that aren't really caring about how you feel about things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the point.
Yeah, that same day I went home and asked my husband, I was just like, babe, am I the most beautiful woman in the world? He was like, yes, you are.
Period.
Just to confirm.
She is.
I was like, you know. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I am. Thank you.
So this one is from, she's a 10 but. She's a 10, but she does not make her own money, brackets, yet she just chooses not to, hops from Kim to Tim over small cash, or is just lazy, makes the boyfriend work for everything, yet she's fully capable. It's babe, nywele, babe, kucha, babe, rent, babe, pads, yak, 0.
Do you want to talk, babe?
Who?
Do you want to talk?
Is there anyone taking your man's money?
Oh my God.
That was so intense and so particular.
But very, very, very particular. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about this also on that, either on that episode or on a previous episode.
I don't feel this way. What I feel is admiration and a sense of very like a strong attraction to women who make their own. That's very different from me looking at women who don't and feeling yuck. And by the way, when we said that, there's a lady who commented, I think it was on our Instagram, when we said about like one of the things I love is a woman who has her own bag, She was just like, you know, what of us, stay at home moms? So us, we are not, and I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. Somebody can say that plus size women are 10s out of 10s. I don't need to take that in. I'm not plus size. That had nothing to do with me. Yeah. And I feel like that's the way to compliment, actually. If you want to uphold a group, you uphold that group without demonizing or looking down on another one. So for me, if someone is a stay-at-home mom and everything is taken care of, they ask their husband or even their boyfriend if they want to for small petty cash, I don't really have a problem with you doing that. I just happen to believe that it's very attractive when a woman is taking care of herself.
Exactly. Yeah. Or has the capacity to take care of herself.
Has the capacity to take care of herself. Yeah.
I guess in this situation, it kind of sounds like it's either somebody maybe who's your friend or something like that who has been going through that. Yeah. And just to emphasize, I feel like even as a stay-at-home mom and wife, you can choose to have your own bag, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe your husband is your bag, because maybe that's you've secured it. But even in that securage, I always feel like it doesn't matter how secure the relationship is, it's really important as a woman to have your own money. Even if it's from the money your man gives you, saving some of that, for yourself and putting it aside for a rainy day, because you never know what could happen.
It's true.
So for
especially as mothers.
And especially as mothers, exactly. So either way, I think we still maintain that as a woman, having your own money is not only important for your safety and security, but it's attractive.
Sexy.
Exactly. It's sexy. Okay. So this one, it's just, I guess it just cuts across. I don't know which episode it was from, but it just cuts across. It's a comment on the two of us.
Oh, wow.
So someone says, I love that Murugi gives every detail. Lol. I love Lydia too, but she filters stuff. At times when she really needs to give more details, she just decides to laugh out loud a lot. And you can tell that she can relate to the statement. She just doesn't want to give more tea. And I respect that, we can't all be the same.
Okay, I feel like the last line really emphasizes we can't all be the same. Morugi's feeling or her comfort level as far as what she wants to share is different from mine.
Yeah.
And I feel like I still give a pretty big amount. However, I have to say that there are moments where I do feel like my closeness sometimes comes based on maybe a season that I'm going through, right? Because if you are, let's say, going through like some emotionally hard feelings, you close that whole door.
Yeah.
You close that whole door. So despite the fact that maybe I could tap into some of the emotions and share and, things like that, if I'm feeling raw and vulnerable at that moment, I probably won't be in a position to share as much, And that's going to happen, by the way. If something really difficult is happening in her marriage, she will skew, because that's not something she really wants to talk about. You might not notice it as much.
And there are many things that I don't talk about.
You're not, maybe because you just keep it.
Yeah, but it's so true about Lydia laughing. Like when you don't want to say something, just be like, Anyway, our next point is that's totally you. So maybe just with me, you haven't seen the cues. Maybe because I share so much of other things that when there's something I'm not sharing, it's not as obvious and it's not as in the center of my life kind of thing, But definitely also me, there are some things that I don't share. And I completely agree with you. And I feel like until you've lived a life on social media, I don't think you can appreciate how naked you feel when you share so much of your life. Like literally, like we said in our last episode, is that you're giving people ammunition. And I think it's a muscle that you build. And maybe it's that I have been doing it for longer or I've developed it that now I really just don't give a shit. It's just like I've said what I've said, and then now you take it. If you decide to throw it in my face, now that's your problem. You just choose, because I'm making my money. So just keep doing it. But also it takes people time to acclimatize to that. And some people never do. Maybe you might never reach the end. Maybe you might decide you might have kids and decide you don't want to show their faces.
It's true.
And everyone just depending on your comfort level. So I feel like I find it very funny that she was able to identify that. She laughs a lot because
next point. So it honestly, and I think because me and Joe are like a two, it's so easy to compare. But it's okay for there to be moments where it's like Joe shares a lot more and she's given a lot of details, and maybe I'm not in that comfort level to do that just yet.
But by universal standards or even Kenyan content creator standards, I do still feel details. Like but
then that means that Inbetweeners have a high standard of expectation, which is fair enough.
Exactly, and we love that, guys, because this is our little family, our Inbetweener squad. But I feel like it's still so interesting how on social media, if someone loves you, they want you to give more details. You give too much details, you're oversharing. You don't give enough details. It's like, what's even the point?
It's a dance.
It's really a dance. And just trying to
allow me to do my dance. Allow me to do my dance.
Allow her to do her dance. All of us to do our dance, really. Yeah.
Okay, so this one is from our conflict resolution. That was a really raw episode. My man taught me something that has absolutely revolutionized our conflict resolution: the 5-part apology. Apologize, take responsibility, acknowledge impact, offer resolution, and ask for forgiveness. For example,
I will say again, sorry.
Apologize, take responsibility, acknowledge impact, offer resolution, and ask for forgiveness.
I love that.
Example: oh babe, I'm so sorry that I came home past our agreed time. I understand that not communicating when I was coming home was irresponsible and made you anxious. Next time I will make sure to communicate and keep you updated about any changes in my schedule. Will you forgive me?
I love that.
Right? Very simple, but it works. Very simple, but it works like a charm. By the time you ask for forgiveness, you have already covered everything and there is nothing to fight about more anymore. Lol. Also, the compliment sandwich works like magic when bringing up issues. Positive feedback, constructive criticism, positive feedback.
I love that.
Yeah,
this is what I needed. Over the weekend, Zach and I had a tiff, and this is what I was trying to explain, because he said sorry, but it was not like it wasn't like this story.
It's
it was
a
just
detailed
like,
story,
okay,
but
I'm
I guess
sorry,
sometimes
you
even
know,
us,
yeah.
we don't know how to
Even,
do it.
yeah.
So I guess we are learning. So that's a really,
Yeah.
really good point.
I really
I
love that. Yeah,
I love
because
that.
that's really. And by the time if you find say sorry like that, the fight
There's
will
nothing.
probably there's nothing else to say.
If you apologize but you haven't taken responsibility or especially acknowledged
acknowledging,
impact,
yeah, because I need you to know how it made me feel.
Ooh,
that's it.
You genius, you
You
babe.
exactly.
I don't know. I've screenshotted off your name. So
but
sorry.
Tell your man we've said thank you.
Thank you so much.
Exactly. And I like that compliment sandwich. Me, I'm usually like, anyway, babe, I tell you something. And then I just give the constructive feedback.
And guess what? We are learning.
We are learning. Honestly, we are learning, guys. Wow. Okay. So this one is just a nice one that I found. So someone was saying, you guys, something very interesting happened. So I usually watch TMI in the morning, and some male friends I work with are always around. As it was starting today, they all tagged along on the "It's definitely TMI."
Stop.
Subconsciously, I think we have some king betweeners over here, as always, and light.
I love
and
that.
light. I know. I found that so nice, and it reminded me of the conversation I had on my Instagram stories. Remember when I said I was talking about something like I know I have 30% of male followers.
Yeah.
What's 30% of 300,000? It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of followers.
Yeah.
And I was asking them, why don't you guys interact with my content? Why don't you guys ever say anything? And the predominant thing was that it's because when, as a man, if you slide into a woman's DMs, even if it's just a compliment or to say something about the whatever, it's automatically just like, your husband is in my DM. Like,
Facts.
seriously. I mean, also me, when I just see a man saying anything like, wow, you women are beautiful, leave me alone.
This is it.
I'm married.
This is why. This is why. Yeah.
And I felt so guilty actually, because I'm like, you see, now the king between us don't feel like they can talk to us.
Yeah.
Because
of that.
we're just there thinking like,
in our
TMI,
you can slide because it's two of us. It
two
just
of us,
feels like
exactly, yeah.
normal.
And I think if you're there's a way to communicate which doesn't come across flirty. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, on social media, I mean, or on text, on WhatsApp or something, it can be easy because if you say any compliment or if you put an emoji, like maybe don't put an emoji.
Yeah, or it depends how. I feel like there's a way to communicate where I won't think that you're trying to come for
Hi,
me.
ladies, I really enjoyed your content today.
Period.
Something
no, hey, big booty.
Nothing, no, or anything about our bodies or anything like that. Because naturally, it's just going to be
seen looked at in a different way. I love that. The other day, this lady sent us a video of her son, and he was just like, "I want to watch TMI. I want to watch TMI." So cute.
Our channel is only for over 18. Please
I know,
keep
but
that
that was
baby
so
away from our
cute.
channel. But we love him.
Yeah.
Or her.
Okay, so this is someone, Molly Kabute, and this was from our dilemma episode where she says, for that discussion on masculinity and femininity, from my experience, it's not just the woman who defines the energy that the partner takes. When I got into my current relationship, I led with my masculine energy, but my man didn't concede. His masculine energy burst out and became dominant, which eased me into my femininity. I'm on the journey of learning more about it with Lydia. By the way, Lydia, when you bring back Thursday Lives, we can have a live on being soft or a TMI episode. So let me tell you, that you see that the fact that you are able to be soft has nothing to do with him overpowering you. That's you who went into it. Because guess what? How many dynamics is the man being masculine and the woman is not having it? She refuses. She refuses to have it. Like, the masculine energy is just more so in her, and that's where her comfort in. Her comfort is in that. So I think that the idea is that when somebody is overly masculine, you automatically become feminine, and there's some truth to that. But what I found is that it tends to be more on the woman's dialing, if she is in the masculine energy, to actually allow that dynamic, because I feel like you allowed that dynamic more than it was forced into you. So that was what my point was, because if what I've seen is that despite somebody coming off with like a lot of masculine energy, you will still see that there's like some tug and was in some relationship, and you're just like, this man is actually super masculine.
Does it depend also on how masculine his masculine is?
Or it needs to be like extreme, or
like super masculine, because you know there are those men who it's like they're masculine, but they're not like masculine. Like it's not in your face alpha male. It's like he's like a not alpha, beta. Maybe he's like a beta male. So it's not like so obviously like when he walks into a room you can tell like this is an alpha male who has walked in. So he's more of the in between, who he would need to have his masculinity brought out, so to speak, as opposed to the way yours, it just comes naturally. Like, you know, it just like the same way there are women who are naturally super feminine versus those who are. I know.
I look at them, I'm just like, wow. So how does it feel to be God's favorite?
This one.
Nancy. Yeah, Nancy is
Even see, I've seen what she's
feminine.
looked up.
Yeah. How would Joanne look up?
Like a rhino. Like a rhino.
Yes.
Nancy, she literally lives her life in slow motion.
Honestly,
literally, yeah.
And you know that slowness.
Yeah,
is
the
so
slowness.
feminine.
It's just so. And she's like, yeah, I'll get the things done, and
Yes,
she will,
I'll
but in her
do.
time, and the way
what
she
do you guys think?
Exactly, we are ready
Respond.
for you guys.
Nancy, what I think you should do is like if you take this. Sweet Nancy.
We also see Nancy.
Me and you
together. When are we getting
And
the report? And when it's like, guys, I'm going to work on it. Don't worry, whatever. I know. So yeah, so there's just like that. There's women who are super feminine, and those like us who are more. We have a few drops of femininity.
We're working.
Here and there. We're working. I know.
Yeah. So I guess to a certain degree that can work, but the way I've seen it and like the information which I've read up on this is that a lot of the times it takes you tapping into the feminine to then allow space for masculinity, or if the masculine is present, it requires you to be the one who taps into your femininity more than him making you do it. But I get your point. I've heard that narrative before, that if a man was really that masculine, you'd fall into it.
Yeah.
So I've heard that before.
Or you're more likely to.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a comment, like a clarification that someone made. Her name is Ashley. And I'm mentioning it because in our last episode we talked about something with sexual assault and sexual harassment, and she was clarifying. She was saying sexual assault is different from sexual harassment. Do you know that?
I think so. Assault is gotta be touching you and doing something like that. Yeah?
And harassment is anything but physical.
Okay.
I didn't know that. That assault is means physical contact, and harassment is anything but physical. So I just thought that would be an important thing to share.
Well, that's that. Yeah, someone can harass you sexually without ever touching you. Yeah.
That was it.
Oh, okay, cool. That's great. This one, facts. This was from our dilemma episode. About the addiction topic. I was in a toxic situation for 9 years. I, however, left and now divorced and living my best life. I lost 2 significant friends who ghosted me as soon as I informed them that I was finally leaving the toxic relationship. So yes, there are friends who feed out of your misery, and once you stop and change and better yourself, you have no value to them anymore. So she is better off without the man who keeps referring her to her past. And funny enough, I personally don't see malice in those people, because what tends to happen is like you've introduced yourself as an orange and I'm an orange, so I'm just like orange and oranges. This works really well. So when you reintroduce yourself as an apple, naturally the orange is going to be like, this is not what I ever wanted, despite you being an apple being a good thing and being beneficial to you. But that dynamic can't necessarily survive this new change, because people like to be environments where everyone is kind of in the same community of things. Oh, okay. Oh, we're all being abused. Great. It's good. It's comforting.
Did she say the others were also in abusive
No. I don't know. I'm just saying that in that comfort, it's going to be if friends who they either think this is normal, or her misery was something which kind of created a certain dynamic in the group. You know, you're the bad one. You are the sad one. You're the one who your life is a mess.
Watching you makes me feel better about myself because I'm doing so well.
So now how can you be better? Because then what would that mean? What will I do with my life? Yeah. So that happens all the time.
Yeah. And it's such a sad thing, but really, I mean, it's just life. It's just life. And I think sometimes it happens even in marriages. Yeah. And if the foundation of your friendship was you being like that for a long time, now that you've moved on, doesn't mean that everyone else has, you know? And maybe even the basics, like we've always been drinking together, drinking. Now you don't want to do it. Then now you've said you've gotten saved and we're only hanging out in church. It just, even though it's good for you, maybe it's just difficult for me to be able to appreciate that that's a different you.
That's a different you. It's true. Or like, let's say like you guys were a solid couple, which usually happens, and someone is now like super successful, or they've changed really dramatically. They're now born again, or, sometimes the dynamic won't stay the same. And I don't always think it's a bad thing. I feel like it's just good to be aligned with the people who are vibrating on the same frequency. Yeah.
I've spoken before about how when I became a content creator, there's a very important friendship of mine that I lost. And I think that's like a fantastic example of that. It's something which was great for me, but it was difficult on our friendship because the nature of our friendship, and it was for many years, was one way. And then with fame came like a completely different dynamic that our friendship just couldn't withstand, I guess, or
because there was maybe I feel like there was a lack of evolution with that, because guess what, there must have been some level of controlling, because if I'm your friend, I've given you all the room to be whatever version, as long as it's not harmful to yourself or to me. But sometimes that's not how some friendships are. They're more like, you must stay this way.
Stay the way that you are.
Period.
So that our friendship can remain like this.
Yeah.
And then it reminds me of something that I screenshotted actually today morning, literally today morning from Nyonyozi Prim's stories. Do you follow her?
No.
Oh. You saw it, right? And I had to screenshot because I was just like, oh my God, I can totally relate to this. So she was talking about adult friendships and losing adult friendships. And she says, guys, nothing ever prepares you for the end of an adult friendship. Having to adjust to not talking to your friend, seeing photos of them with other people, wondering if they are really as happy as they look in that photo, dealing with the loss, dealing with the questions, dealing with the self-blame, refusing to forgive yourself, wondering how you will explain the end of your friendship to your family that had started to care about the other person, wondering how you will tell your other friends, the self-doubt that comes with it, the heartbreak of actually losing your friend, the heartbreak of going back to acting like they never existed. Of all the things that adulthood does not prepare us for, losing friends is one of them. She said she recently had to put to rest a friendship that she really cared about, and to tell you the truth, it doesn't get easier. There's an ache that she can't explain.
Yeah. Oh my God. Breaking friendships is
especially if you're in a circle and other people have not broken the friendships. So it's like you still keep seeing them talking about like it's someone's birthday, and this friend had her birthday recently. So it's like this person has posted how much they love her. This person how much they love her. Then you start asking yourself, so am I the problem who was not able to love appropriately that my friendship ended? You know,
true.
Or it's did you give enough? It's kind of just like the end of a relationship, but feels somehow, I wouldn't say worse. Like it didn't feel as painful in the moment, I would not say, but over time,
it's agonizing.
Over time,
it has an agony to it. That's not even necessarily like a pressure of a heartbreak, but it's just a soft agonizing that feels like it lingers. You know, any friendship which I've kind of ended, there was that looking back and just being like, you know, did I do the right thing? And, you know, just thinking closely. But almost always, I feel like the way I'm built is that I'm big on giving room for doubt. I'm big on giving room for doubts, right? So by the time it's getting to the point of like, okay, this is done, it's like I've given enough doubt, and now we're at a place where I'm having to make a decision between myself and you. That's really usually what it comes down to. So the heartbreak for me tends to be, I wish I didn't have to make the choice, right? That's what's heartbreaking more than you leaving. It's more like I wish it had worked out in a way where I didn't have to make that choice. They're very, very painful. A lot of people DM us about how to move on from a really long friendship, where it's like you don't even know yourself without this person, especially if it came from childhood. Oh God,
tough.
Tough. I've never been through anything as extreme as you though.
Yours has been more just like, okay, I moved away and it kind of dissipated or something.
No. It's just that like I moved away. So a lot of my friendships is like we see each other not so much that we don't even have space to be doing really drastically painful things to each other. Or I haven't known you that long.
But you're still like friends. Just not
we're
as
friends,
close
but maybe
friends.
it's not like this childhood 10-year, 15-year kind of friendship.
Okay. How long have we been speaking for, Besh? Wow, time really goes.
Really? I've been seeing that time is going slow today.
Really?
I like that.
I mean, I feel like it's been going fast. Anyway, let me read this last one.
Time goes slow when you're in pain.
So sorry. So sorry. Okay, so this is on the episode about uncomfortable truths about sex. We had so many comments on there about, especially about the comments about being asexual, the comments about people who don't like sex and things like that. One of this, and I chose this one because he's a guy and we have to include King between us. So his name is Michael, and he said, my wife doesn't love sex. If I decide not to initiate, we can stay for even 2 months plus, and she's okay with it, very much okay. The problem for me is that when I stay for long, I'm almost breaking my neck in the streets. You definitely know why.
That's the thing. When that's unmatched, when that's unmasked, that's I feel like that's usually a big issue.
And the thing is that not enough people talk about mismatched libidos in marriages or even in long-term relationships. There are so many times, especially because at the beginning of a relationship, everyone's libido is high because there's that fire, that passion, it's new and whatnot. Over time, someone's true feelings can not true feelings, but like just the nature of your hormones, you know, or even a woman gives birth. There are many women who give birth and then their libido reduces. There are others who you get on a certain taking contraception and it reduces your drive for sex. Like so many different things happen. Men, as they get older, it might get lower. Even women, it might get lower. And maybe depending on the age differences, like many things happen that affect that.
Yeah.
And people need to talk about that more often and what to do about it, because this man is breaking his neck in the streets.
I know.
And of course,
I feel like there has to be a compromise.
Yeah. I mean, but what is
be.
the compromise?
Once a month. Like
once a month.
I'm saying if that's his limit, if his limit is 2 months, if the neck breaking comes at 2 months, you need to, and honestly, for real, it needs to be something which is scheduled.
But you see, at this point, it's even at the point of like you're the one who always initiates it, even when you're having sex. It's less even about the sex itself. It's feeling
wanted.
Yeah, the wanted. It's like, am I attractive to you? Have I put on weight? You know, are you still interested here? Are you cheating on me? Like, I mean, there's so many modalities when it comes to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like if mostly the thing that makes me not want to have sex is when I feel like I'm not being given room to not want it, right? So it's just like you know, if I get a bit of space, I always want it. And then also depending on my lifestyle, I've said this, when I'm working out, when I'm in my whatever, I could have sex literally every single day. So then, but what tends to happen is like if something changes and I'm really tired, then it's like I don't want. That makes me not want it even more, which is such a weird thing, right?
Okay, it's not weird. I validate those emotions. It's not weird at all. It's not. But I mean,
because the person who's rejecting as well also feels...
It can't be that you're always rejecting
or
that you're always initiating.
Yeah.
There needs to be some balance. There has to be some balance. You're allowed to... You can be the one who rejects more and he can be the one who initiates more, but it can't be every single fucking time, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely going to eat into the fabric of your relationship if one person always feels like it's them and you always feel like you're having to do the rejecting, which makes you feel like you're not being heard.
Yeah.
You know? So then, yeah.
Exactly. I don't let me tell you something I love about Inbetweeners. I love how when someone leaves a problem in the comments, guys are under there trying to help them with their issues.
Yeah.
So there were 2 comments on that. Someone said, have you tried talking to her or some counseling because it may affect your marriage? Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, by the time, if it's something which is really affecting you, I know no one wants to now be like, let's go see a counselor because we are not being able to have sex. It's awkward. I mean, and you wish it could just come naturally, but sometimes it doesn't. And like now, mtadu. And someone else said, is she on contraception because it could be leading to the low libido? Also, maybe you guys can watch intimate videos together. Thank you for the kosher language. Or maybe she doesn't like how you do it. Talk to her and know the problem, or she can see her gynecologist.
I heard a lady say that she started feeling like she doesn't like sex, but she realized there's a particular kind of sex that she didn't like. The one that's just disconnected. The one is just like, you are literally just here to connect to my body. She didn't want that anymore. She wanted something a bit more intimate, something that comes like a little bit slower, something that comes more with like hand holding and compliments and, you know, kind of being eased into it, because she started connecting with sex in a deeper way. So then that version of sex to her just wasn't working, you know? So then now she wanted something different. So it's not the sex that she didn't like, it's that type of sex that she didn't like.
And yet there are others who love that type of sex and are very uncomfortable with the other one. It's like it's too intimate. I don't know who those people are, but like there are some people who are like that, you know, who just prefer just like can it just
whores,
be body to honestly these whores, and we need to talk about this honestly. Okay, I think that about sums it up. Yeah.
And Inbetweener one said,
hey, you guys say a lot. You guys say a lot. And I like YouTube comments because they are public. It's like your name, even though it's like you don't have a channel, so we can't.
You don't mind,
but it's like, this is. I'm saying it with my chest, as opposed to DMing us. You out there, you're maybe clapping in the DMs. You're insulting us. So I like these ones because they are public.
Yeah.
And by the way, as we appreciate anyone who comments on the videos, because already when someone comments, even if it's negative, I'm like, first of all, you're already a fan because you watched the video. Yeah. And even you're commenting on something
hated every minute.
Exactly. You're on minute 35. You're commenting about something in minute 35. If you really hated it, you would not have reached minute 35. So thank you for your comment.
Yeah.
And for us, honestly, I feel like it's a platform to be able to start conversation about different things.
Yeah.
You might agree with us, you might not, but let's have the conversation.
And also, funny thing, and I think it's because people get a lot of negative feedback when they correct someone. We are here to learn because we are not the knowers of the world or the knowers of all situations, not at all.
Yeah.
So if you do come and you feel like, okay, I think the way that was said was incorrect, or, you know, factually this is actually the way that it is, that to me opens up my mind. It helps me grow. It helps us grow.
All of
so
us.
if you do feel like there's at any point you won't get hate for leaving something about like, disagreeing or, correcting us factually, the hate comes because you're coming with hate.
Yeah.
So if you don't come with hate and mess or whatever else, it's going to be received like, okay, oh yeah,
Exactly.
I never knew
Constructive
this.
feedback,
I'm
yeah.
learning now.
There are so many times when you guys DM us some constructive feedback or even comment, and we'll screenshot, go and chat about it in our TMI group to be able to be like, oh, this person said this. And then we start thinking, okay, is that something we could think about?
true.
Whether it's something to do with lighting or the seats, or as long as it's coming from a place of like, you guys are genuinely trying to help us get better and to know, because again, as she said, we don't know everything. So we appreciate every single comment, every view, every like, every share. You guys who share with your families, your shows even. Mazi, we love you guys.
Yeah, we love you so much,
so
guys.
much, yeah.
Continue to comment. If unfortunately we are not always able to communicate the same way on podcast platforms. But if ever you have if you have a burning desire to share something, our YouTube comments are always open, guys. So we're gonna be doing this every so often. And Inbetweener once said,
now we'll be intentional about screenshotting and keeping the ones
that we want to chat about. So please give us the feedback. And we're done.
I think we're done because we've already talked about what the
Inbetweeners
exactly,
we have.
yeah.
So guys, we're going to see you in the next episode. Make sure you are subscribed. You're following us on podcast platform. You're following us on Instagram, TMI Podcast KE, Lydia KM, and the
Murugi Muni, and on TikTok as well.
And TikTok. Yeah, we have a TikTok.
We have a TikTok.
We do
that
post.
One?
No,
we do. You
TikTok.
actually post on TikTok all the time. Yeah. Hey, boss beach. Boss babe.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.